Hi friends, welcome back to CivTech Simplified. We are presenting part 4 of our ongoing video series on structural analysis. In this part, we will be presenting 25 multiple choice questions, and these would definitely help for your next exam. These questions has been designed to help civil engineers like you to prepare for the competitive exams, job interviews, and university tests. And remember, the correct answers would be clearly highlighted to help you review effectively. So let's get started with today's part. It's part 4. So question number 76 for this part is in a bar of length L, when it is held vertically subjected to load at its lower end, its own weight produces additional stresses. The maximum stress will be option A at the lower cross section, option B at the built-in upper cross section, option C at the central cross section, and option D at every point in the bar. I will again read the question. In a bar of large length, when held vertically and subjected to a load at its lower end, its own weight produces additional stresses. The maximum stress will be option A at the lower cross section, option B at the built-in upper cross-section, option C at the central cross-section, and option D at every point of the bar. So B is the correct answer. The stresses produced in the bar will be at the built-in upper cross-section of the bar. So B here is the correct option. Question 77. The property of a material by which it can be drawn to a smaller section due to tension is called. What is the property of the material by which it can be drawn into smaller sections due to tension is called? Option A, plasticity, option B, ductility, option C, elasticity, option D, malleability. So the property of the material by which it can be divided into various small sections is ductility. Option B is the correct answer for this question. Question 78. The phenomenon of slow growth of strain under a steady tensile stress is called. The phenomena of slow growth of strain under a steady tensile stress is called. Option A, yielding, option B, creeping, option C, breaking, option D, none of these. So this phenomena is called creeping, in which slow growth of the strain occurs due to tensile stresses. B is the correct answer for this question. Question 79. The practical unit of work is. What is the practical unit of work? Option A, arc. Option B, joule. Option C, Newton. Option D, Dian. So joule is the practical unit of work. B is the correct answer for this question. Question 80. When a body falls freely under gravitational force, it possesses. When a body falls freely under gravitational force, it possesses option A, maximum weight, option B, minimum weight, option C, no weight, option D, no effect on its weight. So we all know that if the body falls freely under gravitational force, it has no weight. C is the correct answer for this question. Question 81. As compared to uniaxial tension or compression, the strain energy stored in bending is only. What is the strain energy stored in bending as compared to uniaxial tension or compression? Option A 1 by 8, option B 1 by 4, option C 1 by 3, option D 1 by 2. So C is the correct answer. It's 1 by 3. As compared to uniaxial tension or compression, the strain energy stored in bending is only 1 by third. C is the correct answer for this question. Question 82. The maximum stress intensity due to a suddenly applied load is x times the stress intensity produced by the load of same magnitude applied gradually. The value of x is the maximum stress intensity due to a suddenly applied load is x times the stress energy intensity produced by the load of the same magnitude applied gradually. On one hand, it's the x time, it's the load applied suddenly, and on the other hand, it's the load applied gradually. So, what is the value of the load? X. Option A 1, option B 2, option C 3, option D 1 by 2. So, it will be 2. The value of X is 2. B is the correct answer. The maximum stress intensity due to a suddenly applied load is 2 times the stress intensity produced by the load at the same magnitude applied gradually. So it's twice. B is the correct answer for this question. Question 83. The ratio of tensile stress developed in the wall of a boiler in the circumferential direction to the tensile stress in the axial direction is option A 4, option B 3, option C 2, option D 1. The ratio of tensile stress developed in the wall of a boiler in the circumferential direction to the tensile stress in the axial direction is option C 2. C is the correct answer for this question. 84. Strain energy of any member may be defined as work done on it. Option A, to deform it. Option B, to resist elongation. Option C, to resist shortening. Option D, all of the above. Strain energy of any member may be defined as work done on it, to deform it, to resist elongation, and to resist the shortening. So all these are the correct options for this question. D is the correct option, which is all of the above. Question 85. Total strain energy theory for the failure of a material at elastic limit is known as. The total strain energy theory for the failure of a material at elastic limit is known as option A, Gusset's or Trusses theory, option B, Saint-Venant theory, option C, Rankin's theory, option D, Haig's theory. So D is the correct option, it's Haig's theory. Question 86. The strain energy stored in a spring when subjected to greatest load without being permanently destroyed is called. Strain energy stored in a spring when subjected to greatest load without being permanently destroyed or distorted is option A stiffness, option B proof resilience, option C proof stress, option D proof load. So B is the correct option, it's proof resilience. Question 87. The greatest load which a spring can carry without getting permanently distorted is called. The greatest load which a spring can carry without getting permanently distorted is called option A, stiffness, option B, proof resilience, option C, proof stress, option D, proof load. So greatest load is proof load. Option D is the correct answer for this question. 88. The ratio of stresses produced by a suddenly applied load and by a gradually applied load on a bar is. What is the ratio of the load applied on a bar suddenly as compared to load applied on a bar gradually? The magnitude would be same. So the ratio is option A 1 by 4, option B 1 by 2, option C 1, and option D 2. It's 2. 89. The strain energy due to volumetric strain. Strain energy due to volumetric strain, option A, is directly proportional to the volume. Option B is directly proportional to the square of exerted pressure. Option C is inversely proportional to bulk modulus. Option D, all of the above. Strain energy due to volumetric strain is all of the above. All these are the correct options. So D is the correct answer for this question. Question 90. The property of material to store strain energy is called. Property of the material to store strain energy is called option A, ductility. Option B, modulus of rupture. Option C, strain hardening. Option D, resilience. So D is the correct answer for this question. It's resilience. The property of the material to store strain energy is called resilience. Question 91. The shear force on a simply supported beam is proportional to. Option A, displacement of the neutral axis. Option B, sum of the forces. Option C, sum of the transverse forces. Option D, algebraic sum of the transverse forces of the section. The shear force on a simply supported beam is proportional to. Option D, algebraic sum of the transverse forces of the section. D is the correct answer for this question. Question 92. The assumption in the theory of bending of beams is. What is the assumption in the theory of bending of the beams? Option A, material is homogeneous and isotropic. Option B, Young's modulus is same in tension as well as in compression. Option C, each layer is independent to expand or to contract. Option D, all of the above. So the assumption in the theory of bending of the beam is option A, material is homogeneous and isotropic. Young's modulus is same in tension as well as compression. And C, each layer is independent to expand or contract. So all these are the correct options. Therefore, for this question, D is the correct answer. 93. The ratio of maximum deflections of a simply supported beam at its ends with an isolated central load and that of with a uniformly distributed load over its entire length is. What is the ratio of the maximum deflections of the beam in case of simply supported beam and its ends with a isolated central load and that of the uniform distribution? So the ratio between isolated central load and uniform distributed load over the entire length of a simply supported beam. Option A 1, option B 15 by 24, option C 24 by 15, option D 2 by 3. So C is the correct option. The ratio is 24 by 15. Question 94. If the width of a simply supported beam carrying an isolated load at its center is doubled, the deflection of the beam at center is changed by. If the width has been doubled, the deflection would be half. Option A is 1 by 2, option B is 1 by 8, option C is 2, option D is 8. So A is the correct option, it's 1 by 2. Question 95. The deflection of any rectangular beams which is simply supported is. What is the deflection of any rectangular beam which is simply supported? Option A, directly proportional to its weight. Option B, inversely proportional to its width. Option C, inversely proportional to the cube of its depth. Option D, directly proportional to the cube of its length. So C is the correct option, inversely proportional to the cube of its depth. Question 96. A cantilever beam, rectangular in cross section, is subjected to an isolated load at its free end. If the width of the beam is doubled, the deflection of the free end will be changed in the ratio of. How the deflection of the free end will be changed? Option A 8, Option B 1 by 8, option C 1 by 2, option D is 2. A cantilever beam, rectangular in cross section, is subjected to an isolated load at its free end. If the width of the beam is doubled, the deflection of the free end will be changed in the ratio of 1 by 2. So it will be changed in the ratio of 1 by 2. Either it's cantilever beam or simply supported beam. Question 97. For structural analysis of forces, the method refers to which methods are used for structural analysis of the forces? Option A, moment area theorem. Option B, three moment equation. Option C, Maxwell's reciprocal theorem. Option D, none of these. So none of these is the correct option. These are not the methods which are used for structural analysis of the forces. So D here is the correct option for this question. Question 98. If a constant section beam is subjected to a uniform bending moment throughout, its length bends to option A circular arc, option B a parabolic arc, option C a century, option D none of these. So A is the correct option. It will be length bends into circular arc. 99. If the width of a simply supported beam carrying an isolated load at its center is doubled, the deflection of the beam at center is changed by. If the width of the beam, its simply supported beam carrying an isolated load at its center is doubled, the deflection of the beam at the center is changed by. Option A 2 times, option B 4 times, option C 8 times, and option D 1 by 2 times. So its deflection of the beam at the center is changed by 8 times. C is the correct option for this question. Question number 100. The ratio of the maximum deflection of a cantilever beam with an isolated load at its free end and with a uniformly distributed load over its entire length. Now see, this beam has been subjected to two types of load. One is isolated load, which is applied at free end, and the other is uniformly distributed load, which is applied at the entire length of the beam. So the ratio of maximum deflection would be option A 1, option B 24 by 15, option C 3 by 8, option D 8 by 3. So it will be option D 8 by 3. The ratio of maximum deflection of a cantilever beam with an isolated load at its free end. And the other is uniformly distributed load over the entire length. So the ratio in between these two loads due to the maximum deflection, it's 8 by 3. So D is the correct option for this question. So thank you very much for watching this video. We have completed part 4 of structural analysis. And these questions hopefully would help civil engineers who are preparing themselves for any sort of the competitive exams like Public Service Commission exam in Pakistan, whether it is at provincial level or federal level, or any SSC JE type exams in India. So please subscribe to CivTech Simplified for upcoming videos and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok. Do share our videos. These are the links where you can follow us on YouTube as well as TikTok. So thank you very much for following us and watching these videos. See you in the next part.